your paper should fall into a good hand. And because there are times that I've read paper that I personally feel there's nothing in here, but eventually it gets published to the favor of God. So somebody can just like your research and argue it out with the editor himself and say this paper must be published. So eventually the editor doesn't have the monopoly about this. So the paper can also get accepted. So the favor of God is key. Now, I know probably my time is running out, but I don't know if I can go ahead with the second part.
Yes, sir, you might try to summarize, sir, because yes, I think many of our people have been here for almost 3 hours now, but I think we are really learning so much. So you can just
please let him go ahead.
I know he has to go ahead, but we are also under authority. He understands what I'm saying. All right, please, over to you, sir.
Sorry about that. I know ahead, it's a lot. Unfortunately. So the second part is about measuring and tracking your research impact. So nowadays it's now beyond publishing in high impact. So you have to write impact statements. So you have to write impact when you want to look for like a faculty job. People will ask. I've made presentation during my job talk about your research impact. Okay, so I will just spend a few minutes to talk about this, how to measure and track your research impact and how to boost your recitation or your citation. So research impact is in two ways, or it's in two forms. So one is about the societal and economic impact. So that's how you talk about how your research is making, impacting the economy, the society, the culture, and the environment beyond the academia, okay? This for early career scientists or early career researchers is not as important as the academic impact, okay? So they don't expect much, okay? The academic world doesn't expect much from early. Of course, your research should impact the society, but then what they demand is not as high as what we put you. I mean, the academic impact is what you put your feet into the waters, actually. So that's why I will be focusing more on the academic impact. So that's how your research is shifting the understanding and advancing scientific method and theory within your own discipline, And the only way to do that is the big assumption is that the more cited you are, or the more your research is being talked about, the higher your impact in your discipline. Okay, so why is it important? It contributes to the overall institutional research impact. So all of you PhD, you understand that when the ranking of institution is being done, they bring in all these factors. The total citation in the university, the total paper published. So they talk about it. So that's one of the metric for ranking of institutions. Okay, so that's why in some institution they even offer people with high citation robust salary to bring them into their community. So, well, maybe I don't need to say that, but that's the truth of the matter. So then it is a key performance indicator for performance review. So everyone goes through performance review, especially from postdoc up. Every year you go through performance review, and they want you to communicate how has your research done over the past year. And also it helps you to support job and promotion award application, okay? For promotion, that's how your promotion in as early career is research, teaching, and administration. So for research, it's about the impact, okay? So it is important that we start talking about it. Also for research grant funding, it's they look at it. So it is important that we talk about research impact. Now, what are the key research impact metrics? Number one is the quantity. What's the number of indexed and peer-reviewed publications that you have made over a period of time, okay? Sometimes it is important that we have side projects. Okay, I know you are focused on your PhD or whatever you're doing, but look for side projects to enhance the number. So if you look at it, maybe, depending on the field you are, I know some people are getting 10 papers out of their PhD. Some may be difficult to even get one out. Some maybe 3, okay? So it depends on where you are. So if number is not always in your favor, look for side project. Myself, during my master's, I had a side project. It's the 3rd most cited of my papers. Now, during my PhD stroke going to postdoc, I had a side project with other colleagues that are not in my department. That one is the 2nd most cited of my papers. So if you look at it, if I take those 2 papers out, or even 3 of them for my PhD and postdoc, I'll be taking about 250 citations out. Okay, so side projects are important. Like I've seen a lot of research going on here in this community, and I see that there's a lot of potential. You can collaborate with yourself. Maybe at your level, you can just be working on it on weekend, and over 3 years, maybe you are able to get the paper published. I have a paper with my my friends in the US now, Tomide and Akintayo. You know them, right? So the former president and another colleague. So we have something together. Just have side project to increase the quantity, because now at this stage we need quantity above quality. Quality is important. Bear in mind that I mentioned that you must have personal standard, but also try to marry that with quantity, so that when you are applying for job and all of that, you can stand your feet on that. Okay. And the quality now. The quality is measured, okay? So in terms of research impact metric now, so another point they use is what's the quality of the paper that person published. So if you publish 100 papers in low impact factor, they will just trash it, okay? But they want to know the impact factor. So the impact factor is like the average citation of all the publication in that particular journal over the period of 2 years divided by the number of publication, okay? So the journal impact factor is important. Then in Hong Kong, I know they also look at percentile ranking. Like journal impact factor is kind of discipline bias, okay? So, but percentile ranking is done within the discipline. So within certain subjects, what is the percentile ranking? So they rank it from Q1 to Q4. So you always want to target Q1, Q2, Q1 will be better for you, okay? And on the worst case scenario, you should not go below Q2 journal. So depending on the metric that you want to use. So you can know more about this metric if you go to this the SGR website. You can type in your subject. Okay, here I did a poll for building and construction area. I know a lot of us are here. So then you can look at the top papers within that particular subject. Okay, some papers are ranked in different 4 or 5 or more subjects, but you know the subject that you are in, and you can plug that in and know the ranking. Okay, so this will help you to know where to actually publish your work and where to be targeting, where you should aim for. All right, so nowadays we also have what they call the site score, so which is similar to impact factor. So this just counts the citation received in article, reviews, conference paper, book chapters, everything. It counts them and divide them by the total number of publication over 3 years period. So the difference between site score and impact factor is impact factor only focus on citable documents. Those are journal articles mainly, okay? But site score include conference paper, book chapters, data papers like all this method X data. There's another one that's SVR publishes now that publishes only data. Okay, so they look at those, and for impact factor it's only 2 years window. For site score is 3 years. Okay, so it's quite similar. So recently, like yesterday, I got an email from Elsevier telling me about the site score of science of the total environment where I have published, and now they've said it's now 10.5. So this is quite kind of increase. Okay. relative to 2019. Okay, so, and you can also see the ranking of all the journals and all of that. So it is important that we know this. Now, another metric is average citation per publication. So all your publication divided by the total number, or your citation divided by the total number of publications that you have, then the total number cited, okay? To bring together productivity, numbers, and impact, and the number of citation, number of publication, quantity and quality now, the H index was developed. Okay, so H index basically is an auto-level metric that measures both productivity and citation. And it's very simple in that. So if you have n number of papers, okay, you have n number of papers, for you to acquire n number of citation, your n number of papers must be equal to the n number of citation. So what I mean is, if you have one paper, and it gets cited once, you have one H index. Now, if you have two papers and one gets cited once and the other gets cited at zero, and have not gotten any citation, your H index will still remain 1. So for your H index to move to 2, your two papers must be cited at least 2 times. So your N, in terms of the number of citation and number of papers, must be equal. So that's how H index works. Then I-10 index is what Google Scholar came up with. So that's the number of publications that has hit at least 10 citations. Now we have other alternative metrics, which they call the alt metrics. So these are metrics that these measures and monitor and track the engagement of your work with different non-academic environments. Now, if you are before I left work, I know about CTU Scholar. You know that they integrated this system there. So I know that many people think, oh, this is not important, but I tell you that it is important. So that's why academic institutions are also incorporating it into their management system. And also, what they will not tell you is that they don't look at it for your job qualification. Well, it depends on your field, but some professors have interacted with them in my own field. They told me, for you to get a particular position, assistant professor in Hong Kong or whatever, you must have certain H index. So it is important. So don't let them tell you that it's not important. They look at it in almost everywhere across the world. Okay, so in terms of alt metric, so it's track your online activity. I mean, the online impression of your manuscript. So that's why it is important for you also, when you get your work published, publish it, post it on social media, put it on Twitter, okay, and Facebook, everything that you have. So it tracks impact, and also it tracks how it's been used with all this mainstream media. Like if BBC cite your work in one of their documents, it's a big thing. Okay, like my MSc work was cited by DW, that's equivalent of BBC in Germany. Okay, that was key, and I got an interview with them. So it is important to, these are some of the things, it will not show on your citation, but it is important that you put all of this together when you are talking about your impact research statement. Okay, so yeah, basically this is what Altmetrics is all about, non-conventional academic environment engagement of your work. So what are the tips for boosting your citation? I have mentioned so many things about tips of getting your paper published. So it is definitely important. All those things are just in addition to what I'm going to say here now. So one is that you must be consistent. You must be consistent with the form of your name on your publication. Okay. So my name is Tobi Enilu Morakinyo. If you are a Yoruba person, you know that my original name will be Oluwatobi Eniluwafe Morakinyo. Okay, but this is my official name, and I want to stick to it. I don't want to modify it along the line. So if be consistent, don't say Oluwatobi Morakinyo, Tobi Morakinyo, Enilu Morakinyo. Be consistent. Okay, and if in any way you have been inconsistent in the past, there's an opportunity for you to claim those publications on your ORIC, like your digital identifier. You can use that and claim all your publication. It is important. because eventually when people are, the reviewer at the back end looking at your work, they will look at what is happening. They will go to this profile to check if you are actually, if what you put in your CV is actually correct or not. Okay, so you have to claim everything and make sure that everything is in that's your personal pool. Okay, then get the digital ID. Okay, it is important. Register, get your own digital identifier so that all your research will be put together. Create profile. Set up profile on ResearchGate, Academic Edu. So what the intention is to get as many people to read your work. So many people just go on ResearchGate and start search for a particular topic. Okay, so you want to get us, we are academics on ResearchGate, academia.edu, LinkedIn, Google Scholar. Set up accounts on all these profiles, okay, or on all this platform. And it's also important that you share your full access link, especially Elsevier now or even Springer. They give you 50 days. So share those so that people that don't have access in their country can quickly download the paper, read the paper, or save it on their database or their reference manager. Okay, so you don't want a situation where people will be interested in your work, but they are unable to get it. So you have to do that as soon as your paper gets published. Put those on social media. I know we researchers, we are shy about promoting our work, but social media influencers, that's what they do, and we consume their content. So get people to consume what you want. That's how you can get cited. The more content we consume from social media influencers, the more their value. Okay, if you look at it from that dimension, you are your own #1 marketer. So market your work as much as possible. Don't be shy about it. Talk about your work. Engage with your work. That's how you can improve your value. I personally know how much I have earned from just sharing my work on social media. I've gotten invitation from different people. I've gotten free offer of simulation tool based on that worth thousands of euros. Just so somebody can just know, I mean, they have enormous opportunity with doing that. So it is important. Share the posts, the preprint version, the one that you have the license to, add it as full text on Google, on ResearchGate, on academia.edu. And when anybody asks for it, you share the preprint version, okay? So don't violate the copyright issue. So it is important for you to also share with your research network and interact with your readers. So some people will add comments on your work, they will ask questions, interact with them. That's how to engage with your research. So yeah, I've also mentioned that you should share it on, so previously I mentioned about professional media, but now also take it on social media. So people are just there, and you can see from the auth metric or two, they also look at those social media, okay, engagement. So use all this manually. So people actually use this as their database. I mean, their search database for research. So you want to get your paper for people to just want to get as many people in the community to read your work. So any means you can achieve that is important. The more they read, the more likely they will cite. Don't be a naysayer to presentation opportunities. Just like what ANSHK is doing now, very important. Every opportunity to talk about your work, just don't say no. The more you put yourself out, the more you get recognized for your work. Yeah, present at local and international conferences. Okay, so I'm so sorry I have to skip over it. Yeah, I spent so much time, but I'm sorry, but I believe it's valuable to each and every one of us. So thank you for listening, and I welcome contribution, comments, and questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Dr. Murakinyo, for this engaging and exciting, interesting presentation, eye-opening, really. And I've learned so much personally from this presentation, despite the fact that I watched the full video you uploaded during the 1,000th citation that you sent to me. And so we are happy to have you here again. So the floor is open now for questions to Dr. Murakinyo. I suppose we have some already in the chat box. I think, let me see. Yeah, we have a question here, and the person is asking that, thank you so much. First, thanking you, presenter. You mentioned that applying a new methodology or different methodology can make one's work novel. My question is, what if after application of a new methodology, your results didn't much depart from past research results? Will such work still be considered to be novel?
Yes, it will be considered to be novel. You just need to articulate it properly. So the method is new. So how does it, so you have a proof already that you've done your work with a new method. And in fact, to make your discussion balance, you will have to mention that so I've done it with this method and this is the result. In fact, it's a validation of your new method that your new methodological approach doesn't decline or from expected results. It's a validation of your method. So I think you can go ahead with that.
Wow, thank you for that lucid and straightforward answer. I'm happy to know that still constitutes novelty. I'm happy to know. Yeah, we have another question. You said we should use passive and not active expressions in our article. Please, what is the logic in this? And I think this is relative because for some of us in the social sciences, those who do ethnographic study, probably you are expected to use I did this, I did that, I did this. But I think within the context of your discussion, sir, what would be your response to this question?
Yeah, I mean, it's just to, yeah. So I was also buttress that. So it depends on the field you are working in. Okay, so the logic is to make your narration more expressive rather than and descriptive as well, rather than just direct. Okay, so instead of I conducted this, so you can just say the so method was used to conduct so research. So I think it's something we should pay attention to. So it makes you more expressive and descriptive with your writing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor. I actually had a case. I wrote a paper for a Q1 journal in that field, and the paper came back asking me to use the objective. I should not use the first person, I should write in the third person. Well, I did that, and then I had another paper submitted, and came another person saying, wow, why should you use a third person? You should use first person. So I think the debate is out there, and sometimes it depends on the field and what the person reviewed your paper is actually saying. So please, but I think in the natural sciences is more open to, it's more likely you should, passive, the writer should be passive, should use the third person narrative. Thank you very much, sir, Professor. So do we have more questions?
Sorry, I can say a question here.
Okay.
From Kende Temitopo Lubanjo. Thanks so much, Dr. Murakinyo. Thanks for the insightful teaching. Please, is it possible to share your slides?
Oh.
Yeah, yes, there will be no problem with that, but I think probably you can as well. I think there's going to be a video of this, right? Yeah, but I can share my slide, no problem.
Thank you very much, sir.
I will send it to the committee afterwards.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Yes, do we have any other question? Yes, today, as they say. Permit me to be
Professor Moakino.
Okay.
I want to ask you,
Dr. Bayo.
Should we only target high impact factor, or we should have a mixed high impact and maybe some others and so on? Or should we only focus on high impact factor journals?
Well, I think what is important here is that it's peer reviewed and it's indexed. Okay, so let it tick that box. Number two, you should do an honest assessment of your paper. Okay, of your manuscripts. Where do you think it fits? Sometimes you may compromise high impact for readability, for wider readership, okay? So it depends on what you want. And also, there are some work that are not like some work that maybe they are residual of the main thing, right? So instead of it to just waste in your computer, you can throw it to a medium impact factor. You understand? So don't waste any research contribution that you have made. So that's what I would say.
Wow, thank you very much, Professor. Do we have, maybe we can take one or two more questions because of our time. This is 6:20.
I think the time is fast spent.
Already. Okay, let me add my question, please. Sir, I want to ask the question with reference to the literature review aspect. I know that it is important to review previous studies, but I want to ask, considering another fact that you mentioned, that quality, at this stage of us, that quality could be preferable to the quality, the quantity could be preferable. May I ask, what strategy would you advise that we use during a literature review? Is it that you read the entire literature before you start writing, or you write along as you review? Because sometimes some people might want to. I think you get my question. Thank you, sir.
Yes. So for me, I think it depends on how updated you are. Okay, so when I mentioned that for me, I get to know every of the up to date, every of the latest research in my field every day. I keep abreast of that. Okay, so I may not necessarily need to do a literature review before I start writing before I derive my research gap and knowledge. Okay, because I know what the state of the art is. But if you are unaware of the state of the art, before you put your paper to write anything, except you are writing a review article, you should conduct your research review first. In fact, to write a review article is all about literature review. So literature review is important. You should do literature review because this is why many studies are irrelevant. Because before you know it, if your literature review is not comprehensive, especially if you want to publish in good journal, okay, you will just discover that you're unable to get it well because the reviewers are experts, so they know what's the latest thing in the field. So literature review should come before anything else. That's my personal recommendation.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. We have a chat in the, someone is saying that we omitted, but I couldn't find the question, that there is a question unattended in the chat room. Probably you could help us read it out, Mr. Kinwande, I suppose, because I tried to check the chat here. I couldn't find such a question.
You just ask directly, right?
Okay, maybe the person can ask directly. Thank you. This should be the last question, I suppose.
You can unmute yourself, Mr. Kinwande, to stop the question. So you can just pause.
Hello, everyone. It wasn't my question, but there's a question about being passive or being active in your writing approach. Somebody asked a question about a comment by the presenter saying that we should be passive while writing and not active. So the person is not clear what that means, I guess. So it wasn't my question anyway.
I think we've addressed that.
Exactly.
First, I think.
That question had already been taken. Thank you very much, anyway, for calling our attention to it. It had been taken, and then we also have the record if you like to hear the answers more explicitly. Okay, so without much ado, thank you, Professor Murakinyo. I want to hand over quickly to the chairman of the 2021 Research Committee, and then to do the needful. Thank you very much for the privilege to serve in this capacity. Thank you. I don't take it for granted. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think the secretary will take over now and we'll close everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Murakinyo, for the insightful talk. I learned how to package my work into something I can submit to a high impact journal. Thank you so much. And then we also thank you for always yielding to our call anytime we ask you to. once again, thank you so much to all the presenters. You guys, you all did a great job, and then we learned from your different research. We wish you good luck, and then the very best. To the research committee members and the chairman, we say a very big thank you to you all. You did a great job bringing this and making today bringing everybody together today. And lastly, we appreciate our audience because this program was meant to be a 3 hours program. Now it's going to like the 5th hour, and then we still have so much engagement, so much questions, and it's been fun for me. So thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate you. And then we'll now come to the end of today's research forum. You guys should have a nice evening.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Professor Murakinyo. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Professor Murakinyo.
Thank you, everybody. All our guest speakers, all the participants, we thank you, we appreciate you.
Eshongani.
Eshongo.
Eshongo, bye-bye.
Eshongo. Say it in your language now, Dr. Ochechi.
Dalu.
It's interesting. Dalu. Thank you very much. I think some of us might like to even co-author or something, collaborate. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Adedayo Johnson. Although we didn't hear your voice. Thank you.
Thank you, the program anchor. Thanks for the job well done.
We thank God, sir.
Yeah.
It's a privilege.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir.
Session share, thank you.
They pronounce orúkọ mi, ṣé ẹ ń ṣe Yorùbá?
Ẹ má dá mi lóhùn. Ṣé tí má ti pè Chris yẹn, Ọládàpọ̀ yẹn ó máa.
All right, now.
Ẹ má dá mi lóhùn.
All right, Mr. Blessing, thank you very much.
Ẹ má bínú, sir.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, Shamaka. Thank you, Ayomide. Thank you, everybody. We miss Juliet. She was unable to. She's in Nigeria. So thanks to everybody. Thank you for coming. Mr. Oyeshino Kayode, thanks for the underground job. Thank you all. Thanks to the president for helping with everything and bringing the links to the questionnaires and everything. Thank you all. Yeah, I think we can stop the section now.